Okay, welcome back. So we talked about the introduction for binary search trees, and then we built a couple of them just on paper, getting the process down. So some of the rest of the things in the worksheet have you considering and possibly writing at least some pseudocode or thoughts on paper for the min, the max, the find, and even the insert, which I mistakenly mentioned that you could have done before, which a lot of you probably could have gotten started, but I will walk through a little bit of the insert, um, and not the code writing, but just the process of that and the recursion, and then finally just maybe briefly about the assignment, although I think we've touched on that already. Okay, so finding the min, if you just look at several examples, we had this one, and so indeed finding the min means finding the lowest letter in this case. So if it's a numeric example, it's finding the smallest number. And so if you look at enough trees, you'll start noticing that the minimum is, in this case, it's to the left as far as I can go. Here it's to the left as far as I can go. And in this example as well, it's to the left as far as I can go. And if you're thinking about the fact that for each node, the children to the left are less than it, it makes sense. That's where I would go to find the minimum. Similarly for the max, I'm going to just keep going to the right as far as I can go. For any of the trees, that's where I'm going to find the greatest value in this example in terms of string. So the R comes after all the other letters. So pretty straightforward, but in the lab it does have you consider has you write the min using an iterative approach first, and then the max recursively. So keep in mind when you are trying to find the minimum iteratively, what is the process you need to repeat? And so just using a while loop, or and when does that while loop stop? When do I know I have found the smallest thing? When do I know I need to stop looking for the smallest thing? Similarly with the maximum, what is my base case going to be? How am I going to know that I have found the largest element and can stop looking? And how am I going to return that value before I've gone too far? So I think it's worthwhile to think about these a little bit on paper. You're certainly welcome to look at your tree lab for some ideas and examples. But just wanted to walk through that logic with you of traversing left or right to find the min or the max. For the find method, this has an iterative and a recursion, so I think you're given a choice in the lab of either way to do it. You're going to have this comparable piece come in. Excuse me, tired, it's late. The target that you're looking for is going to come in as a comparable item. So you may need to do some casting when you pull a value out of the tree. So iteratively, there is some pseudocode right here that will help you quite a bit. So as long as P is null, and it's a little late to mention it, but you always want to be keeping in mind, what if I have a null tree or a one node tree, and make sure, those are some of your boundary cases with trees, is nodes with no children, and or trees with no root yet. So assuming we have a little bit more than that, or we've handled those boundary cases, creating this kind of walks you through actual pseudocode that you can use. You're free to cover this up and go give it a try yourself, but often some of the pseudocode solutions are more elegant and efficient. So as long as I'm going to set P to a temporary pointer at the root, and as long as it's null, and the value that I'm currently looking at, I'm going to decide whether to go to the left or right depending on the target I'm looking for. So in the case where I'm looking for 4, P is going to be, so P is going to be the 5, and this node is not null, and 4 is less than it, so I'm going to go to the left. This node is not null, and 4 is greater than it, going to go to the right. This node is not null, and this happens to be what I'm looking for, so I'm merely going to return a true or false. So similarly, if I were looking for the number 6, again I start at the root, and 5 is less than 6, so I would go to the right. I would check this to see if it's null, and it's not null, so I can compare it to my 6 that I'm looking for. And it is going to be less than 8, so I would go to the left of 8, and then I would check and I would find that the left child of 8 is null, or that current node is null, and that is my signal to return false, that the item is not found. So that's the iterative solution. Considering a recursive solution as well, I believe in the code you are given a choice. It looks like it, and it walks through the recursive solution. So I'm going to leave that up to you. So the insert, just going to walk through a couple of those. So again, this goes back to that original build. This could also be inserting a new node, but it's also going to be part of the build. So the build is going to be calling this insert method, but again, it could be that I already have a tree built and I'm just going to be inserting a new node later. So there's the initial build and then also individual additions later. For the insert, let's see, where am I here? I can't. No. Sorry. There it is. Okay, insert a 2 into this tree. So it's a binary search tree. So that traversal is going to be the same. So I'm going to walk you through just the pseudocode-ish process. So, and again, this is a recursive method. So, is that right? This is the iterative solution, and then there is a recursive. So I'm actually yeah, that sounds good. So I think what I'm walking through is more of the iterative solution, but it can be adapted pretty quickly for the recursive solution. So inserting a 2 into this tree. So iteratively, I would create a new node with 2, and then I would have a while loop searching for where to insert. And I know it's going to be less than 5, so I'm going to go to the left. The 2 is going to be less than 3, going to go to the left. 2 is greater than 1, so I'm going to go to the right. And all along the way, I'm checking to see if I have a null, because as soon as I hit a null value, I know that's where it goes. So it's when I go to the right of the 1 that I find that it doesn't have a child, so I'm going to insert the new node there. Now, what that means in the tree, remember, is that the previous node, this 1 node, the right child was set to be this new node. So it's important to keep track of this. Remember, I had to go beyond it to find the null spot, but I need to hang on to this enough so that I'm able to insert the 2 into its spot. So one more example, the 7, so again making a new node, and again this is iterative solution, so I'm looking for null. I start at the root, and 7 is greater than 5, so I go to the right. 7 is less than 8, so I go to the left, and I have found a null spot. So I'm going to set 8's left child to be that new node, that new 7. I'm going to let you think about the recursive solution sum. There is definitely some pseudocode provided, so I don't think it will be too difficult for you. So there's 3 examples built into the runner for you. I think you have to type in, perhaps it automatically searches. You may have to type in the value you're searching for. So I would challenge you to try some different values, try the A, try the M, maybe try something that's not there, as in this example. And then the min, the max, and the in order should be the same for all of them. It's just depending on the type of tree we have, and these are the first 3 examples that we built together. It's going to traverse the tree differently to find the min, the max, and to also display order. So that's about it. Happy coding. These are some interesting challenges. So if you find yourself with extra time, I would go ahead and research some of these ideas and maybe see if you can take it to the next level on your own. All right, happy coding.